gentlemen, as I said before, I was really thrilled that I had the chance to actually meet a woman that I have worked with in the publishing world with Scars Publications for approaching 20 years. She's done a number of books. She just had a second printing of Anais Nin, An Understanding of Her Art. That was originally done in like 97, I believe, but just was additional stuff was done for her. And she just, I'm just going to tout the ones from Scars Publications. If you'd like to know about them, go to http://scars.tv, because this is one of the more recent ones as well, Death of an Angel. And she's got a ton of other books too, because I shouldn't just be talking about me. So there's An Angel Fire Dress. I'm really hoping she will give out this info. But once again, I am so thrilled and I am so pleased to have this feature here. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Rochelle Holt.
Actually, the first time I read in Chicago was at the University of Illinois at Chicago Circle when I was a student of Carl Shapiro's. And this is my second and last time reading in Chicago, I think. But I wanted to read here because I hadn't met you, Janet. When you said to perform my poetry, I immediately panicked and I wrote a poem, which is what I do when I panic. Cursed with square hands. If I could perform any poetry, I would dance words like wind moves leaves or waves. I'd sing like Toby Keith or Peggy Lee. I'd walk with Thoreau around house near pond, but I'm no Michael Jackson, artist brave. I can't memorize and am cursed with square hands. I'd bellow like former voices from grave, untether this body from past, be free. But for now, shadow has returned to cave. How can one who loves sun prefer no sound, pondering difference between pathos, pity, tall monuments ever on fallen ground? I've often forgotten own phone numbers since memory is a sieve shifting on sand. Thus, I'm a writer who's no performer. If I could enact tragicomedy, I'm sure even squirrels would fall from the eaves. But I can't carry tune or melody. I thought I'd read that poem, The Color of Shy, which I wrote for you.
Which is appearing in a future issue of CCND magazine. I think it might be October. I'm not sure.
That's nice. What makes a woman shy when she's older is a raisin in the sun, dream deferred. Same as in youth, though struggle is preferred. Death stresses depression for bipolar, as well as estrangement from siblings conferred. What makes a woman shy when she's older? Our literary projects that smolder despite hundreds of readings where she's purred same as in youth when struggle is preferred. On left side of mountain, she's not bolder, lyrically passionate, but footnote referred. Yet what makes a woman shy when older isn't fear of demise, just mortal tears for inhumanity towards earth and birds, unlike in youth when struggle is preferred. Salinger turned inward, refused to share. One woman is running away from herd. What makes a poet shy when she's older is same as in youth, though struggle preferred. You don't have to do that. Let me just do my thing.
You want to save the applause till the end?
Save the applause.
Okay.
Yes. I have a lot of poems lately about not how does a poem mean, that John Charity told me about, but why does a poet be? Why does a poem be? Why does a poet be? Vision imperfect. I wish I could get excited by football like Boyfriend, or boxing like Joyce Carol Oates, or wrestling like my Polish grandmother while Russian grandpa went fishing in small boat. Is there deficiency in me? I ponder. preferring to watch palm fronds and leaved limbs sway, as I listen to wind chimes in tree call me away from art that was almost rote. I enjoy Olympic sports as pleasure, even horse racing unless the horse falls. But now brown eyes are open when I pray, wondering when we'll be able to online vote. When I was younger, I thought dance was my call, but aches and pains in hips and knees are mote in vision so imperfect like broken leg, casts fragmented shadow on hula dancer. I find myself filled with angst to invade at wrongdoings of invisible brothers. I'm also as anxious as a scrub jay with wounded wing prevents flight over moat. Still, I enjoyed Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler and Tom Hardy in Warrior because of the pathos in Veterans' one note. Similar to anyone must find way beyond through or out of the dream has stalled. Why do we read poetry aloud? Not to hear echo a voice in ear, but to verify that other ears care about sound substance. Personal stories may somehow ring a bell beyond dawn fear. Do we shatter doubt when mouth flaps and breathes like rabbit plays with hunter to avoid squeeze? When others listen to your opinion, mine releases hold from simile seas. Still, eyes stare, wonder if podiums for one, merely vehicle for driver to stun, as others wait turn to avoid accident? Are we all passengers who prefer run? In front of audience, you don't want to vent or give proof that good poems are heaven sent. So why this compulsion to share words aloud? Do we seek acknowledgement for thoughts bent? Honestly, don't most readings make you groan? Even when language is like wet clay honed, or do we empathize with poor mortals and bizarre desire to ride wild roam? I suppose if we realize men are hulls, bodies renting space in houses are souls, we can view the tongue as spiritual sword, cutting through debris, earth pollution that nulls. In between stars, and the first word is I, E-Y-E. I cut teeth on E.E. Cummings, Hopkins, bringing rhythm in the mid-60s, songs advocating peace, not war. I journeyed to Amherst to feel breeze, Dickinson's wind through useful pores. Edna St. Vincent Millay in Camden, Maine was already near, not far. I loved Sappho, Wordsworth, Wallace Stevens, before Plath and Anne Sexton teased mind into strange trial addiction, philosophical rhyme at core of daily madness with certain ease. Now I travel in between stars when poem novel begins to seize rambunction bubbling below this skin. Who doesn't tell story to appease nature of truth seeker as just bumpkin, bouncing words off an iron door? I cut teeth on E.E. Cummings, Hopkins, springing rhythm in the mid-60s, songs advocating peace, not war. Sacred Fire. These are all pretty recent ones. After we burn our souls on the hot coals like barefoot hippies, then reach for rain, there comes time when we put on shoes, not to traverse same mountains of pain, but to embrace the how in who, as present becomes new climbs over knolls. Having lost, we don't want to lose emotional spirals distinct from poles, youth ephemeral as a weather vane, until we swim through sacred fire off shoals, away from Midas, mammon views. Faith in river as mirror keeps us sane. Each artist quietly spreads news to people pulling on ponies' mane as they ride away from porpoise toward goals. We succeed when there's nothing to gain but one reflection in the same pool. We are here to give, not to use. After we burn our souls on the hot coals like barefoot hippies, then reach for rain, there comes time when we put on shoes. Another why we do this, Houdini suspended. What they don't understand is we escape. Free verse or rhyme, rhythm, symbols, tone. Mind is Houdini suspended underwater or above in cone as body is liberated from aches and pains that cloak us like black cape. It's almost as though we are dead, afloat like a sail or gossamer drape, adrift on sea without heavy bones. No one or nothing can bruise us or scrape invisible orange butterfly transformed from child in adult full grown. Dreaming in sun on a green bed, thoughts transport faster than light or sound as we become cloud, stone, wave, and gold leaf. In darkness, we are the light shown on the shadows who release form and shape. We follow only where we've led. What they don't understand is we escape. Free verse or rhyme, rhythm, symbols, tone. Mind is Houdini suspended.
That was awesome. Like, yeah, that was awesome.
I will read a few poems from the books that Janet beautifully published. The second edition for Annie's Nin. I had the privilege of meeting her, and I think she was a wonderful poet. And she probably inspired me to become a poet novelist, which is a new genre that I think I invented. And the poem is Understanding is Love. Art is the journal of artist's journey, letter from daughter to distant father aboard ship to America by sea for immigrant Annie's destiny with two younger brothers and her mother. Art as the journal of artist's journey. First impressions, tangled child secrecy. Ideal love of past in music, waves stir aboard ship through America by sea. Unconscious atonement, conspiracy, preserve quiet flow of philosopher. Art is long journal of artist's journey, record of dreams that transfer reality, fairy tales and poems that swam her to shore aboard ship to America by sea. In diary, she still sails as captain free from the double labyrinth of Minotaur, with art as journal of artist's journey, aboard ship past America by sea. I've published a book in every genre, and this was my critical book. Book of criticism. It was critical. And Death of an Angel is a memorial for my mother, but I also think that other people who have experienced loss can relate to it. Loss. Every time you love, you risk loss. Yet life itself is ephemeral. Mayans said Earth's been annihilated by fire, water, erosion, and air. But we're the heirs suffer wind-borne illness, not to forget man's homicide, war. All its convoluted shapes like countries whose dwellers continue abuse. Women, children, creatures, leaders, peons as onlookers stare and do nothing. I know human slays self, also horses, while we yet rant at pesky seagulls. We hunt, fish, unmindful that we are bait, since all survival is never fair. Only the rare few forsake more for much less after they give up shoes to walk far. If ever we finally flow and not seize, we discover there's nothing to lose. We touch a leaf, tree, stone, not to abscond, but to find that inner voice to sing. No doubt we take turns being slave or boss, same as four elements, push and pull. Some exert will, some think life, death, fated. Often we strip but refuse to bear flesh and bones of our true otherness, like peach, pear, pineapple cut to cord. Actions then drift like pine limbs before freeze as we remain unconscious of snow. To self, others, nature, we've no bonds. We're cracked bulls with nothing to serve. And I think I'll end it on a short poem from Kaleidoscope of Dance, Clarence Wolfshoel of Timberline Press. We just sold a letterpress. And he did a couple books of mine by hand. And this one's always important to me because family is so distant. And every time I look up at the geese, I just think how united they are. Dance. Body becomes wings of all geese, flight from small dark pond to sun, stretching song in night. As new dance, where family is one.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that that was loud enough. Please give it up one more time.
Thank you, Janet, so much. Thank you very much.
You're the best. She read from all these different books, and that was so awesome. I'm so blown away. That was awesome. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And I hope that the recordings turn out well, because even though there are throngs and hordes of people here,
Yes.
you can, from across, you know, one of the things that people said was the best thing about having things like podcasts, or I couldn't make it to your feature, or I live on the other side of the country, blah, blah, blah.
That's the beauty of the video.
You can see her, so, and she's going to be a podcast for the next week, and she's going to have it up on YouTube, and that's just so awesome. Now, I'm not sure, I'm not positive if the cafe is running next week, but if it is, we've got Janine Ravensluth and Tom Roby doing conversational poetry together, and then we've got Charlotte Hart the week after that. The beginning of October, Chicago Calling is in this month of October, and at the cafe we've got Chicago Calling. That means anybody who has interactive work with anybody outside of Chicago can have a mini feature. So people have things that are with musicians from somewhere else, or people have artwork that are reflective. And right now, the only people I've got confirmed are girls. So I'm looking over at you. You should be on this, Mr. Man.
Why not?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to be doing it with you there the day before. So once again, thank you, Rochelle. And thank all of you. And if you want to know anything, you can always check it out online at chaoticarts.org/thecafe, where you can find things out about this feature, about schedules, about Chicago Calling, because I would love you there in the future. And thank you again so very much for coming to the cafe. Thank you.